So, good evening, everyone. And I'm not sure in which time zone you are uh, getting this stream from, but we have Armia Saharkis, who is currently in Iran. And we have a panel who is waiting to come and showcase their own products. We have a very diverse panel where Jamie is currently with us from South Africa. I myself am speaking from Iceland, so it's a very geographically diverse audience and the presentation group that we have here. So I'll introduce Armia. He's the CEO and founder of Treejer.com. It is a very impressive use case of blockchain where they are taking a very physical model and a very digital model and merging them together. So they're using blockchain for tree plantations. And if I can quote Armia here, his motto or his aim with this project is to make reforestation as fast as a click of a button. So Armia, I'm presenting it over to you. Let us know how your technology makes that a tree plantation, uh, you know, which is such a physical activity into something digitalized using blockchain. All over to you, Armia.
Thank you. Thank you, Shivan. Thank you for inviting me to this conference. And hello, everyone. I'm really happy to be a part of this conference. In fact, it's one of my favorite topics, studying the future. And it doesn't matter if I'm seeing future in a science fiction movie or in a professional conference like this. I love it because it helps me to get more conscious steps towards a better future. So I think it was like yesterday that we were watching movies in the cinema showing us a post-apocalyptic image of the world where a global pandemic hits the world and destroys the social structures of the human lives. And now we are living that reality. It's really interesting and also, sad to see such a thing because we were warned before, we could predict that, we could be prepared for that, and we didn't. Now we have this problem. And the more interesting thing is that we are warned of the more serious things. You know, a global pandemic was not something that was predicted with a lot of people. Maybe some futurists that had the resources and knowledge of such a thing, and it was in their expertise. They warned us about such a thing. But uh, think of climate change, for example. It's a more scientific prediction, and it's like everyone is talking about it. I mean, by everyone, I think most of the scientists who have the knowledge to predict such a thing. And we are simply ignoring it. And I don't know why. I think it's everyone's question. And but I'm not going to answer this question in this meeting because climate change needs no explanation. What I'm going to cover is the efficiency of our actions to tackle this global challenge, the current method of mitigating climate change and how efficient it is. And also at the end, I'm going to show you how we have used, again, an emerging technology, and in this case, it is blockchain, to tackle climate change and to make our actions more efficient. So let's go. Um, Let me, in the beginning, tell you how we are tackling climate change at the moment. So right now, it's like if we are eco-conscious and if we care about climate change and environment, um, we donate to the charities, to the NGOs, to plant trees for us, or we reduce our own actions In fact, there is a famous statement that says that reduce what you can and offset what you can't. So it's like donating our money to NGOs and leaving it on them on their side. And from this part, we don't know if they really do that climate action that we have funded or not. So there is a big problem here that if we want to, at the most cases, if we want to take steps towards combating climate change, we need to trust a third entity, and that is either a government, an NGO, or whatever, which is in the which acts as a middleman to make that action. It could be planting trees, it could be whatever. So I believe that it's not the right method of combating climate change with regard to the in fact the size of problem that we have and the pace that we need to combat this global issue. So now we have okay, there was a problem in the panel. So now we are living in a time that some of the emerging technologies can help us to make our actions better and make it more efficient. One of these technologies is blockchain technology. Before going further, I'm explain blockchain in really simple words, so we can all know what I'm talking about. So blockchain, think of blockchain as a public database in which no one can remove the data that is recorded in it. So think of it like a public ledger that all the transactions, all the events are recorded on it, and it is immutable. So with this potential, we can add it to many industries and increase the transparency in those industries. It could be, I don't know, automation, automobile industries that need transparency in the supply side, or cruelty-free food industry, whatever. But what I'm going to talk about right now is the reforestation and the need for transparency in it. So before that, let me share my slides. Okay. Let's see an image of our current world, and I will tell you how we can use this opportunity. I mean, this problem can be turned into an opportunity to make our climate actions more efficient. 3.4 billion people in the world are living in the rural areas, and 1.7 billion people are unbanked. They don't have access to financial systems. And 71% are earning less than $10 a day. In fact, 50% less than $5 a day. So what does it mean? It means that we were not, looking at it on a global scale, we were not, so far we were not able to connect to 1.7 billion people in the world to, I don't know, get their help in different industries and create jobs for them. And most of them are poor people in the underdeveloped and developing economies. So it's a big opportunity and I will tell you how we are going to use that. So Treejer is using this opportunity to make climate action more affordable by enabling the connection between tree founders and the unbanked communities in the world, and also the rural people. Most of them are in the developing countries, in the undeveloped countries, and they earn, if they have a job, most of them, they don't have a job. If they have a job, they are earning less than $5 and $10 a day. So what does it mean? Being born in a country that is being born in a country that is one of these countries, Iran, I have seen people that earn even less than $3 or $4 a day, and having a mobile phone is a dream for them. And it is getting worse and worse. It's not just about Iran, it's about many underdeveloped countries, and they have many problems like the devaluation of the national currency. So as the time passes, they can't earn enough money to survive even. So how can we help them and get their help to create a better world? So I will show you the magic now. Yes, that's it. We have created protocol, a reforestation protocol, in which different groups in the society on a global scale can fund trees that are being planted and sustained by local communities in the underdeveloped and developing countries. So the funder wants the credit of their job, their action, and the planter wants money because they are in a less developed area. They need money to survive, and they need money for survive. It's not for buying a pizza or something like that. Uh, they want to pay the rent of the house. They want to uh, use it for farming and things like this. Living in developing countries is totally different from the developed countries, believe me. And it's like the image that the media is showing us is much more different that we have. And living in the rural communities of these countries is another thing. So the planters get the money and the funders get the credit. We have made it possible by using the blockchain technology. Blockchain technology doesn't need any centralized bank system to connect these entities. And it's not the only benefit of that. We can create, in fact, economic systems that are unprecedented and can be used to disrupt many industries. So what we are using at the moment, what we are doing at the moment is to creating traceable carbon credits. It's something that we haven't had so far. So far, we are trusting entities to plant trees, to do any carbon reduction project. But now, when a planter plants the trees, this action is recorded on blockchain, and when they update the status of the trees, it is again updated on the blockchain, and we have a record of all these transactions on an immutable public database. And this enables us to it helps us to not to need to trust to these entities. It's a trustless economic system. So the funder also gets their credits on the blockchain. They don't, if they want, they can't create fake certificates. So these are all the benefits of the blockchain, but it's not the only ones. So I'm going to tell you how it works in real world. A rural person in a developing or undeveloped countries plants the trees that you have funded on Treejer protocol. And when they plant the trees, and when they update the status of the trees on a monthly basis, their funds, I mean the escrow, the funds that was held in the escrow is released, is unlocked to their wallet, to their own wallet. It's very important. We can directly pay the rural persons. So after that, they can get access to a growing number of services in Treejer protocol, which is one of them is zero interest loans and other things. So when they plant these trees, both the environment and the economy of their area is developed, and they forget about migrating to cities, which would bring a bigger problem. And you, as the funder who have funded those trees, you get a tokenized carbon credit on blockchain, which is called O2 oxygen. It's not real oxygen, in fact. And you can use that carbon credit to reduce your carbon footprint or purchase services and products from third parties. So that is how we are creating value. In fact, we are transferring the values between different entities in Treejer protocol. So we have started working, our field works, we have had pilot projects and it was successful. And regarding the technology, we are on Ethereum test network at the moment, and soon we are going to launch on mainnet. And at the end of this presentation, I'm going to demonstrate how it works. But why we are using blockchain technology? So blockchain helps us get transparency in carbon credit ownership because the records are immutable. It helps us get transparency on plantation site to see if the trees are really planted or not. And it gives us transferable and fungible carbon credits. It will make carbon credits really, I mean, the use of carbon credits really easy. Everyone can have access to it. And it is unlocking new economic and trust systems for us. So, for example, we are experimenting with an identity management system in Treejer protocol, in which we don't get the documents of the local people for KYC process. They themselves create an interconnected trust, and if one of them commits a bad behavior, the whole community is punished. And because of that, it's like a game theoretical concept. Because of that, they are urged to increase the trust system on the on a local level themselves, without needing to send us any documents. We are testing a lot of new concepts in this protocol, but it's just the beginning. It's a journey of years and maybe decades, but good things are happening. So O2, our carbon credit, is produced in real time without prior supply. So we are not promising that, for example, you fund this tree, and this tree in like 10 years produce this amount of carbon credit. The carbon credit is produced in real time as it grows. And the credits are traceable on blockchain, so you know where each credit is from, and it is transferable. So many platforms, many services and products, online products, can use these online credits to create their own use cases. Think of, for example, an Amazon equivalent that plants a tree for you for each product that you purchase from its website, and it gives you a tree code, tree ID, and you can track that on Treejer.com. So we are making Treejer in a way that it would be integration friendly. And at the end, we are making climate action more affordable because it's being happened in the underdeveloped and developing countries. It is getting more sustainable because it is done by the help of local people. It is inclusive, and it is making more impact. It is transparent because it's on blockchain, and it helps us measure our impact easier because we have all the data on the blockchain. So even the scientists can research in a better way and analyze the, analyze this method of reforestation. And also it's gamified. It's like a game. You go and you have your own forest. You can add trees to that forest with some clicks, and real people are planting those real trees. And there is leaderboards in our website, so you can know whose forest is bigger and who was planted, for example, in every country as we add more countries to this platform. And now we can go and see a demo of the product in a live view. So let me share my screen. And in case you have any questions, just share it in the comment sections of the YouTube. I will read them, and yeah, I will answer them at the end.
If there is any comment there, we will paste it here in the chat and Armia will respond. Or Armia,
Okay,
5 more minutes. Thank you.
So, okay. So, okay. Here is Treejer.com, and we are on Ethereum test network, which means we are testing our infrastructure, and there are no real trees planted when you fund. In fact, you don't need to use real money when you fund trees on this platform. But let's see how it works. You can go to Treejer.com and open Forest. And when you connect your wallet, your blockchain wallet, you can use some fake money, which in here it is Robsten Ethereum, and add trees to your forest. You choose the number of trees, and you sign the transaction. And as soon as you fund the transaction, the local people are notified to start planting your trees. Yes. I think you are not seeing my wallet, but right now I'm signing a blockchain transaction using my crypto wallet, which is MetaMask here. And yes, I that the transaction is processing, and in a few moments, we are going to have our tree added to our forest. Yes, it's done. So I just added a tree to my forest, and here I can see the list of my trees and see the location of each tree. Okay, and there is a leaderboard here, which the biggest and the biggest founders of trees. And I think there is a problem with the internet connection, and there is a forest map here that shows trees on Google Maps. So these are your tokens, O1, O2, real carbon footprint tokenized on blockchain and produced in real time. And O1 is, in fact, a beta version of the O2. It's a test product to help us test how this ecosystem works. So yes, that's it. And if you have any questions, just let me know. And I'm done with the presentation. I hope you care for the environment, and we take these predictions more seriously. And I just try to show you one use case of blockchain technology and show you how it can help us make our climate action more transparent and more inclusive by including the unbanked communities of the world in this action. Thank you.
This is great, Urmia. Very, very happy to see the whole progress, and now we can have forests, digital forests, basically, which are replicated into the real world. So that's the community, that's the climate effort Urmia's team is doing, and we are very grateful for this. So thank you, Urmia. Now I'll take the control from you and pass it out to Jamie, who will be talking
Okay.
about MyCoach.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for coming here. So now with us we have Jamie. Jamie, you are able to now unlock your video and audio. Yes. So yeah, great to see you.
Great to see you as well.
Let's just prepare everything in a moment, and in 1 minute we'll start. So Jamie is working with a product which is called as MyCoach. So what happens when learning completely gets disrupted, and with COVID pandemic and all, we are all seeing that various ways of learning are being tried and tested in all the scenarios, whether it is university side of it, whether it is corporate side of it. So what happens when what are the experiments that people are conducting, and how are the tools or the technology companies coming up with solutions to enable those things? So MyCoach is one such product which Jamie is going to present to you. So Jamie, I'll mute myself, and you are live. You would like to share your screen, right, if I imagine?
Yes.
Okay, so all over to you now.
All right, Shvam, thanks very much for having me. I'm just trying to share my screen now. I see that I am not able to just quite yet. I'm just having a little bit of difficulty being able to share my screen. Have you granted me access to share my screen? I think yes, there we go. All right, Shvam, I think the last presenter still is sharing their screen. I'm not able to share my screen yet. Shivam, I think the last presenter is still showing their screen, so I'm not able to share my screen yet. If you can just let me know if they are.
Just a moment.
All right.
Because I have taken the control from him. Do you see my whiteboard now, right?
Yes, I see a whiteboard there, yes.
Okay, and now you try it again, please. Does it work?
No, if I select it, it just goes white in the background. Yeah, for some reason, every time I click screen sharing, it doesn't seem to allow me to select.
Okay, let me give you presenter rights again. You will have to activate your camera again, and then you try to do this. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, can you try again now?
When I select screen sharing, it doesn't show me any options.
Yeah, as a presenter, you should be able to do it. Can you try again now?
There we go. Okay, there we go. It's just giving me permission now.
Yeah, perfect. So all over to you. I'll mute myself.
All right. All right, Shivam, I'd just like to take the time to thank Whiteboard for having us on. It's quite exciting to share what we've developed. MyCoach has been quite a journey to develop, and on People Tree Group side, we're very, very excited to tell people about it. So to start off, my name is Jamie Sutherland, and I'm a product manager at People Tree Group, an international company that specializes in creating sustainable talent management solutions. Today, I'm going to speak to you about behavioral change and how we can use data to drive it. Now, behavioral change is hard. We know this because habit is hard to break or create. We tend to do what we've always done and what we're most comfortable with. But successful people know when they need to change, even when it's not quite in their nature. So what we wanted to do when developing MyCoach was to figure out how exactly do we make behavioral change easier. So if you don't really agree with me that behavioral change is hard, let's take a look at the common New Year's resolution dilemma. I'm sure everyone's familiar with creating a New Year's resolution on the 1st of January with a lot of ambition and really high hopes that this year you'll actually follow through. If you're feeling guilty, well, you shouldn't really, because you're not alone. So let's take a look at the numbers. According to Forbes, only 25% of people stay committed to their New Year's resolution after 30 days. That means 75% of people give up within a month. And what's worse is that 8% of people, or a mere 8% of people, accomplish those goals. So to me, that means that 92% of people find behavioral change almost impossible. So why is change so hard? And what can we do to activate effective and sustained behavioral change? So we set out to solve this problem, and we figured out that there were 7 keys to activating sustainable behavioral change. If we can push this button, we've got a much better chance of actually making the change and perhaps becoming part of the 8%. The first factor is commitment, and this is you want to change. This is when you realize that you do want to change. You might not be clear what you want to change, but you know that you need to change. It's similar to hearing a song playing in the background. You're not quite sure what's annoying you, but you know something's got to change. Now, the second key is intent. This is purely having a purpose behind your change. This is understanding where you currently are and where you need to be heading. It's like lying in bed hungry, but you're not quite yet hungry enough to get up out of bed to make yourself something to eat. In the end, you find the intent is quite easy because it is embedded in your survival instinct. The third key is perceived benefit. Now, this is quite important in maintaining motivation in the change that you want to make. If you don't think the benefit is worth the effort, well, then you're highly unlikely to go on and make the change. It's like staying in shape to be able to fit into your favorite pair of jeans. You might realize the effort is not worth the benefit is not worth the effort, and just buy a bigger pair of pants. The next key we have is clarity. There's no point in having commitment and purpose, but not knowing how you can make the change. You can have the commitment to get yourself to the gym. You can have the intent as well to get there, sign up, and want to lose weight. But there's really no help in getting to the gym and understanding, well, looking at all the gym equipment and understanding that you have no idea what to do. You need to be aware of the actions that you can take to effectively move towards your goal. The next factor is support. And if you think back on any change, when it's been easiest, it's most likely because you had the support of people. In other words, you had access to resources, people, and information that made the journey a whole lot smoother. The second last factor is feedback. Now, this is such an important part of effective change. There's a phrase that says a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. But what people don't mention is that a step in the wrong direction can lead to a journey of 10,000 miles. So when you're trying to make the change, it's important to know what direction you're heading in and to make sure that you're actually moving towards your goal and to avoid taking the extra 9,000 steps. And the last factor, what I like to call, is the recognition, and this is what most people thrive on. This is the recognition of making the change. After all the hard work, your friend finally passes the comment, wow, you've actually lost weight. This is what carries momentum and drives even further change. Now, let's take a look at the value of driving these 7 factors of behavioral change in a business environment. So what we noticed is that learning and development is on a spectrum and that there are 2 sides. On the upper side of the spectrum, what we normally have is your high-end executives and senior managers that have high-touch, high-personalized coaching, typically set up programs for executives that come with the price tag that has the finance department up at night. And on the other side of the spectrum, we usually have the low-touch, self-directed learning, where there's a whole bunch of e-learning or blended learning. All you have to do is log on and access it, but no one really does. So through our research, we identified a gap in the middle where organizations either create and deploy development at scale, focusing on quantity and not quality, and where the development initiatives are overserviced and undermanaged. This is where we came up with an entirely new role known as a Development Process Manager, a DPM. Now, a DPM is a person that, together with the technology, manages and monitors the development through the 7 key drivers that we've just discussed. So this is a dedicated series of responsibilities that need to be performed by the DPM, a role that we offer as a part of the MyCoach solution. The DPM's main focus is plan, monitor, and report, which basically means they will help individuals plan what development is needed, monitor the changes and the level of motivation, and report back to the relevant line managers or HR to discuss possible shortfalls or development needs for which you need to start the cycle again. After a series of sprints and adjustments, by the end, be able to review the progress and embed the desired change. Right, so let's take a look at how MyCoach manages this process and what building effective behavioral change actually looks like. Here we have Susan. Susan is one of my direct reports, and she's just been chosen for a new administrative role. She thinks she's terribly unorganized and doesn't believe she has the skills for a new role. Let's have a first-hand look at what her MyCoach journey would look like. We've identified commitment through her starting the MyCoach journey and understanding she isn't where she wants to be. So she now needs intent to change. And with that, a DPM would contact her to identify an area that she would focus on, which in this case would be becoming more methodical. And becoming more methodical consists of the following skills. She then needs to select targeted areas for development, which in this case will be planning work. Now, the starting point of all change is understanding how well the person thinks she can do it. This sets the benchmark for improvement. We then need to set a time frame for Susan and figure out how we're going to measure her progress. This is important because she needs to know whether she's making the changes that she's working on. In other words, what does she want to be more of? She wants to document process plans in terms of milestones, timelines, and resource requirements and quality standards, and anticipate process risks and pitfalls to be able to create contingency plans. So in just 3 steps, we've set up a personalized development plan for Susan. So now the next question is what? The question we want to answer now is what now? Well, she needs clarity. Clarity around the specific actions she can now take towards her goal. MyCoach has hundreds of development actions. And that originated from People Agree to Rethink and React book, which has a collective of 50 years of human resource and psychology experience. Alternatively, Susan can create a custom development action, which would have been suggested by her manager or by her DPM. These actions are then pushed to Susan at optimal times through MyCoach app to give her a brief reminder on the development goal that she's working towards. The next thing we want Susan to be able to do is to be able to measure her progress. Now, this is important because we need to allow Susan to recognize whether she's heading in the right direction. In this case, Susan is one of my direct reports, so I'm in a good position to identify and see how well she does this now and how well I think she can do it in the future. Which automatically now sequences an email to me to give me feedback on her process. This doesn't necessarily have to be a manager, this can be anyone around her that can monitor behavioral change. Now, this is the email I received. The question I'm prompted with is, how well do I think she does this now, and how well do I think she could do it in the future? I think Susan documents process plans adequately, so there would be a moderate gap that she would need to close. In terms of her ability to anticipate process risks and create contingency plans, this would need slightly more work, so I'd indicate a larger gap. This means that I establish how big the gap is that Susan would need to close. She doesn't need to be perfect, right? She just needs to be good enough for the role she's in. This gives Susan valuable feedback on how big the gap is that she needs to close. And by doing this, we're able to provide her with the recognition of closing the gap. The next point is monitoring Susan's motivation throughout her developing the skill. By DPMs actively monitoring this, they can proactively provide the support. If she says things aren't going great, or are going great, well, then there's no problem. If she says things aren't going so good, well, then we'd want to know why. So we identified 3 key areas for motivation, that affect motivation. Is the skill still relevant? Well, she selects yes. Is she making progress? Well, partly. And is she getting an opportunity to practice this behavior? Well, no. So the DPM would then be able to see if any of those motivation factors would be impacted to make sure her motivation doesn't diminish. Susan herself is also able to monitor the overall development process from within the system that she's operating in. So now this involves rating the relationship with the development process manager, the resource availability she had during the time frame she wanted to develop that skill, and whether she had the right amount of support from her line manager. This allows the DPM to monitor up to 40 unique development plans who are all working on different things, and is able to proactively manage development process and provide measurable progress to line managers or HR. So MyCoach is really an end-to-end solution for individual development. It's designed to be scalable and cost-effective. It uses data to drive change and provide measurable feedback so that you can effectively embed sustainable behavioral change. I'd like to take the time to thank Whiteboard again for having us on. It's a good time to always discuss the products that we take so long to develop. I'm quite excited to start launching MyCoach as an app and a platform. So if you're interested in the solution for your workforce, you can contact me on jamie@peopletreegroup.com. Alternatively, you can visit our site at peopletreegroup.com. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Jamie. That was really insightful. And as we already know from our discussions, there are some organizations that are, willing to pilot it out, and they are willing to, work with us on implementing these kind of changes. So, one of the things that we have this, which is very credible in the showcase is about the offer. So all the, products or solutions that you're seeing here are basically, recently developed, and we are piloting with organizations as we speak. So this is an agenda. So if you are a HR professional, or if you are viewing this from a corporate background, it's a good idea, and it's a good time to connect with us, and look into some of the possible use cases that we can deploy in with your learning and development initiatives.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much, Jamie, again for presenting this very interesting topic, and the numbers that you presented, and the solutions and the processes that you are offering. That's very good. So if there are no questions for Jamie, then what we'll do is we'll set up our next presenter, who is Michael Brody from OurNet. So Jimmy, thank you again, and you can, so that we don't have the same issue again, you can stop your presentation.
All right, cool. Thanks very much for having me on, Shivam. All the best.
Yeah. Thank you for coming. Perfect. So what I will do is, Mike, are you ready? I'm making you a presenter. So give me a little while to do a formal introduction, and you can update. You can open your mic and video. Hello. So all the systems are set. I think you will be sharing your screen too, and we'll start with the YouTube play, right? So are you able to do that? Just test out take 1 or 2 minutes of break, and then I'll just introduce myself. I'm just wrapping it up.
All right.
So while we do the setups and all, I'll just make a brief introduction about Mike. As you can see, he is someone who does not need to work. He has worked whole his life on community building, and he's now retired. But there was something that brought Mike back from retirement into entrepreneurial world, which is quite segmented, or quite biased towards young blood, if you can say. But Mike identified a problem that will be shown to you, presented to you, and that problem has been lingering with Mike, because he's uncomfortable with the way the social fabric is moving on. And as an elderly parent or elderly relative, identify.
Not too much elderly, please, Shivam.
Well, I okay, I'll go with you on that then.
Thank you.
So we'll be working, and we'll be listening to his thoughts about what is the social fabric or the community fabric that he will speak about. How is it evolving, how is it evolved, and what needs to change really to have a world that works for all. So Mike, I'll mute myself and then give the floor to you, so you can present it with the video.
Can you see the YouTube video?
Yes, we can.
Perfect.
You will just need to hit the play button, and we can start here.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah. All over to you, Mike.
In the United States at 30%, in the UK, France, and Germany in the low 20s. What's happened is people have now processed the epidemic of fake news, and also
you look at some of the fake news on these platforms, it's being created by people who are taking advantage of the fact that they've been given that access. This isn't just something that's
company, and their main currency is the data they collect on you so that they can serve you. decisions about what content you and I see and how the content I see may be different than the content you see. And I think people are holding campaign
2018 election hacking. We take a closer look at the growing role social media plays on automated fake accounts known as bots to spread misleading information online.
When they do this, they're able to reinforce inflammatory and divisive ideas. This week,
So enough of social media that creates fragmentation, social exclusion, and polarization. We want a web that makes us think, helps us have real conversations, and helps us grow. We want a net designed for real communities and real people.
Enough with artificial intelligence ruling our internet experience.
Enough with the lies.
Enough with the internet giants that dominate and intrude.
Enough with the social exclusion, fragmentation, and polarization.
Enough with the lack of trust in everything and everyone.
Enough of social media bringing out the worst, most competitive aspects of human nature.
I'm tired of social media that pulls us apart rather than brings us together. And that is why I created OurNet. Discover a new virtual village where you can express yourself in a new way and, with some help from augmented locality and social intelligence, bring forth the best that humanity has to offer. From all of us at OurNet, here is an idea for our future. And now, it's up to you. Help create the web we want. A web, a world that works for all. So, that is my passion. That is what I'm here for. So I'm now going to add on, I hope, a presentation. White screen sharing. So can you guys see this? Hello. Hello.
Try it again, Mike.
Okay. Have you got it now?
No, not really. Try again, please.
Screen sharing. Screen 2. Application window.
Just see blank screen. Let me just see what I can do.
Thank you. So it's,
yeah, try it now again. I've cleared the
screen sharing. Share. Yeah, the recorder has stopped. No.
No, for some reason it's not working.
Right, I shall try closing it down. One second. Slideshow. How are we doing? No?
Let me see. Okay, now I've taken control and now I'm trying to give it back. Are you able to do it now?
Let's have a go. Share. No. Well, perhaps I should just talk to it.
Yes, but let me able to show something. I'm not sure what.
Tell you what, we know that YouTube works. I shall share the YouTube video.
Okay, try it one last time and then we can move on.
Okay.
Anyways, we are ahead of time, so no panic.
Fantastic. Screen sharing. Screen one.
It goes blank for some reason. I'm not sure.
It's just completely white for me.
Yeah, same here.
So
we are not able to pick your screen, and I'm not sure why is it showing Whiteboard ad, because it looks like it is my screen.
yes.
Yeah, are you able? Yeah, your screen is visible, Mike.
Is it?
Yes.
You can see YouTube now.
No, we see welcome to the event future showcase, which could be me.
I think that's you. So I'm clicking on screen one. No, I'm just getting a blank screen.
Okay, hold on. Try now, please.
Okay. Share screen. Nope.
Yeah, for some reason it is, you are trying to do it and you are sharing my screen. And that's that's something that should not happen.
No.
Because let's see if, does it change? Do you see my screen?
Welcome to the event future showcase is all I can see.
I have changed now my stream, but I don't know how we solved it with Jamie. But what I will do now is I will make you an attendee again.
Yes.
And then I will make you a presenter. You can unlock your camera and you can start sharing now, Mike. You will have to unlock your camera and mic again. Yes.
Hello.
Are you able to share your screen now?
No, still the same issue.
Okay. Are you logged in as Mike or are you logged in as me?
I am logged in as Michael Brody, Michael.
Okay. So I will probably exit the event and I will try to log in again. See if you can do it then. Otherwise, you can carry on with the video thing only, because that I think is working. So I will exit the event and I will connect again.
Well, the YouTube video isn't playing either. Hi there. The YouTube video isn't playing now. I haven't got the YouTube functionality. Perhaps I should log out and log back in.
OurNet.news, your community.
Can you mute yourself?
The problem is that 37% of people in the
Can you
EU
mute yourself?
are dissatisfied with their social media platforms. The amazing thing is, there are all these platforms and many, many more, and there's still an issue of social isolation, polarization, social fragmentation, and a sense of powerlessness. OurNet is the solution. It's a community platform created and edited by the community for the community. It provides an open space for relationships and action, giving users access to contribution and belonging, each with their own personalised virtual village magazine. Local, global and scalable. OurNet is aimed at real communities, both locality and interest-based. All of your community in one place. Most social media platforms are one-dimensional and superficial, but OurNet is multifaceted and enables populations to connect, build trust and self-organise to do what they do best, to group together, chat, exchange, take action and influence decision-making. Building social cooperation and interaction for real communities. There's also competition. There are thousands of local websites that all do a great job. There are search engines which put you in touch with local services. And there are local newspapers, many of which are failing. The original inspiration for OurNet was chiswickw4.com, serving 40,000 residents. And the amazing thing is, up to 4,000 are online at any one time. A testament to the need local communities have for local information and connection. Our income streams are that we are a freemium service with paid-for private communities. We offer pay-per-click local advertising so people don't have to pay up front, and also context-sensitive advertising, where appropriate advertising goes with articles. We're anticipating having a population of around about 100,000 regular users by the end of June 2021. And the social media sector is actually growing at around 30% a year. And our target market of Portugal and the UK has a total serviceable available market of about $1 billion. We've got a great team who've been developing the project, and we've also got some great advisors to support us. This is a quick introduction for OurNet.news. It's fundamentally news-based, and articles are contributed by users. If you read an article, you have the opportunity to rate the article or have a look around related posts. There's also a chat area where you can go in and you can sort of read people's contributions, people's questions. You can answer them or comment on the answers. You can post your own response, etc. There's also an event section where you can see what's going on in your locality, and that's filtered by your interests. There's a market area where you can buy, sell, exchange goods, and finally there's an Around Me section where you can see what the local municipality is doing, what the health service is doing, police department, etc, etc, etc. Now, as well as locality, there is also a group section. So you can join groups, and groups are not necessarily locational. And if you go into a group, you can see exactly the same format. There's a chat, there's events area, there's a marketplace. So the real community in all places. But one of the most interesting things is this little yellow button up here, which gives you access to your details. But one of the interesting things is reputation. So if you have a great reputation, then your articles rise to the top. If you have a poor reputation, your articles fall to the bottom. Now that gives feedback to people that they're better off contributing to each other rather than abusing each other and creating fake news, etc., because their reputation depends on it. that fundamentally is a quick look around OurNet.news. Thank you very much. If you're interested in contributing to a better world, you should come and talk to us. Thank you.
I think rest of the time you can take in terms of explaining what your offer is and what you're looking for in terms of communities and how you're helping with your platform with them. You can see if you want to share for the last time. Otherwise, we can just have a random discussion and move on to the next piece.
Yes. So I can't get out of the YouTube video, so I've got a blank screen. But
are you using Safari as your browser?
No, I'm using Chrome.
Okay. We'll have to figure it out. This is something that is out of our control. So anyways, because we know what your project is about and how it is working on with social communities, and you will also be speaking in the Friday's panel about ecosystem builders. So you can just explain your offer and we can run it through, because this showcase session is more about showcasing the products, what they are doing, what are the solutions that they are bringing out to the world in terms of futuristic solutions. And you can explain about your roadmap and what you are going to do next, and your offer to the communities that might be listening right now to us.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, so what
Okay. So next we have Rutvika and Prabodh, who will be presenting us VideoWiki solution. Let's see if they are ready. I only see Prabodh. So Prabodh, I'm giving you access to camera and mic. Can you share yourself? Prabodh, you will have to activate your mic and camera. Prabodh, can you see me?